Hello everyone, this is Granny Gamester here, or Gigi, with another beginner's guide and tips for Conan Exiles 2024. Now I am playing on the Xbox Series S, and these guides are intended to explain the tools available in this game and how to use them. And in this video, I'm going to show you tips about what the journey steps do not tell you. So let's get started here. Now, in order to get your journey steps to show up on this screen, you need to go into your settings, scroll over to gameplay, and as you scroll down through these selections, you'll see this one right here that says show journey steps. You need to have that checked. I also recommend that you show contextual controls. This tells you what buttons to push to get what action. So now that we have that set, you can see up in the upper right hand corner, I have my first journey steps as survivor, and it says take your first steps. So that we will do. And then it says investigate the smoke nearby. Now off in the distance there you can see some smoke, but before we do that, we're going to go over here and we're going to check out this stone right here. Now this is a lore stone, and these are dotted throughout the exile lands, and they give you lore about what happened in these exile lands and why you're here. If you are a completist in the game and you like to do everything there is to do, it's important then for you to find all of these. And it also gives you a clue about the objective of this game, which they do not tell you. The object of this game is to remove this bracelet that I have on my right hand wrist, and it has the little green gem in it. To do that, I need to collect artifacts throughout the exile lands, which are in dungeons. Not all dungeons, but some dungeons have an artifact. When you collect all of these artifacts, you then need to go to the Chaos Mouth altar, and when you turn those in, it will make a keystone for you, and when you use that keystone, it will end your game. Yeah, you will lose everything that you've done. Now this is a huge game and hours of gameplay, and you accomplish a lot. I know very few people who have actually removed the bracelet because it's hard to do. It's a very solemn moment. You spent a lot of time in this game. Most people will just start over without removing the bracelet. They'll do a new build or something like that. I myself have done it twice, and it is a very solemn moment. But that is the objective of the game. So let's go up and investigate the smoke. Now that broken highway is an icon that's going to show up on your map. It's called a point of interest. And every time you find one in the game, it's going to show up on your map like with a little icon like this, and it's going to tell you what it is. So there are hundreds of these dotted throughout these exile lands, the maps, and when you come across them, that's what's going to happen. So let's go investigate the smoke. And now that we have done that, it says investigate or search for supplies. So we're going to check these crates, and of course this is your first one. We're going to open this, and inside the chest you can see it's already put a water skin and some roasted haunch into my inventory. What they don't tell you is that this one piece of meat is still in there. You need to take it out by using your R2. So let's go ahead and take that and put it in our inventory. And then another thing they don't tell you is that every item in the game has information on it. And how you get that information is to highlight the object you want to know more about, hit your R1, and down at the bottom you can see a little box that says info in it. Let me hit it again so you can see that better. See it pop up. Just hit your A, and it's going to give you information about this sealed water skin. Now, if we highlight the roasted haunch and do the same thing, it's going to give us a description of the roasted haunch. What it will also do, if I hit this R1, it will allow us to split it. So if I want to split these into two, all I got to do is highlight split, hit my A button, and it splits it in two. Now you can do this with any number of items that you have. So if I only want to put one of these in my hotbar, I can split it and do that. Now to put it back in the stack, all I need to do is highlight the piece, hit A, and you'll see that little yellow triangle show up in the square. Go over to where I want to stack it, hit A again, and it will stack it. If you have a lot of them, it will ask you how many you want to move. So the next thing it's going to do is tell us to eat and drink. So what I like to do is move these items into my hotbar. Now to bring up your hotbar, you need to hit your L1. You need to highlight the item that you want to move, and that's my water skin. So I'm going to hit L1, and then with my right joystick, I'm going to choose a slot to put it in. Once I have it where I want it, I'm just going to let go of my L1, and it's in my hotbar. I'm going to do the same with my roasted haunch. And now both of these items are in my quick bar, which I bring up with my L1. Now it's going to tell me to eat and drink. So all I have to do is bring up my quick bar, highlight that, and let go of my L1, and I drink. And the same with the meat. So now I have done that. Now my next step is to gather plant fiber. So let's go ahead and pick some of that. And all you do is walk up to these and hit your X button. Now your X button will allow you to interact with everything in the game. So now that I have that, it's going to tell me to craft and wear clothing. But before we do that, I want to show you this. You don't want to miss this. There's two little items on this rock. If we pick this up and open up our inventory, you can see we now have another sealed water skin. Yeah. Next to that is a little note, and you'll want to read that. It gives information about the person who left this here. So we're going to pick a little more of the plant fiber. And then go ahead and make our items of clothing. So we're going to make the gloves, the leggings, the tunic, and the foot wraps. Now, as you can see, as I'm doing all these things, I'm also gaining levels. I'm up to a level 3 now. So now that we have all our clothes on, we can actually go into our clothing here, and we can hit our R1 again. And now you can see there's information on this piece. We'll hit A, and it's going to tell us about this coarse tunic. This tunic provides little protection from sword or fang, but does provide slight relief from cold and heat and stinging sand. So it's letting you know that this is not the greatest in protection at all. Same with, well, actually, it does tell you that you can dye this item too. Now that comes a little bit later in the game. You have to be a higher level to be able to make dye. But if you find dye in a chest, you should be able to dye if you have that checked off in your knowledge. Then we can check these handful of insects. And to the starving, a handful of insects can be enough to stave off hunger for a while. You can eat these guys, yeah, and it will fill your food circle. So now we need to spend attribute points. So let's go into our inventory page. We're going to scroll over to attributes, and there's a lot of controversy amongst players about where to put your first attribute points. I like to put them in expertise. And the reason I do that is because expertise determines the maximum weight you may carry. So I'm going to put all 3 in here. And if I max this out, or not max it out, but if I put 5 attribute points into this, which I usually do, that's all I put into it is 5, your tools lose durability half as quickly, and hunger and thirst depletes 33% slower. This helps you out a lot when you're first starting this game because it gives you more time to explore and get used to the game before your tools run out and you get hungry and thirsty. So now it's telling us to search for more survivors. Now, if I want to run, I just press down on my L joystick, and that's going to allow me to sprint. But as I do, you can see my stamina bar, which is the yellow bar up in the upper left-hand corner. It goes down when I sprint. So when that gets down there pretty low, all you need to do is press down on your left joystick again and you'll stop. So as we continue up on this path, we're gonna come up upon this guy. He scares me every time. He's not gonna hurt you. He's just gonna fly off. So you can go ahead and go up and see what he was doing. And as you can see, we've completed Find Your First Survivor. This is not really a survivor. He didn't survive anything. This is a little book, a little journal. You might want to read this. It kind of gives you some information about the sandstorms that happen here, etc., etc. And they don't tell you about the sandstorms. And you can survive them. But you need to be able to build a little shelter as soon as you can in this game to protect yourself from the sandstorm. And I do believe there is an hour's worth of gameplay before the same sandstorm actually happens. So you have plenty of time to do that, actually. So now it tells us to gather stones. We're going to go ahead and do that. And then gather branches. This is a branch, so we're going to grab these two. I don't think there's too many more of those here. So we're going to have to travel up a ways, I think. There's another one there. So you want to keep following this out. Now, as you can see, it tells you how many you need to gather in order to complete this journey step. And in this case, it's 5, and we have 3. So instead of going straight out here, I'm going to recommend you go to your left before you go out into the green jungle here. We'll pick up this one and this one. And then that completes that journey step. Now it's going to tell us to craft a stone pick. Now, before you do that, go ahead and pick up 5 more of these branches. And I'm going to have you go out this way. Okay, so now let's go into our inventory and let's make a pick. Whoops, we need some stones, don't we? So we don't. Did it allow us to? I think it did. Yes, it did. So go ahead and put that in your quick bar. And let's take that out. And we're going to get some more stones with this. Because that's our next step. Harvest stone. Let's make sure we pick up a couple more of these. And then even though it doesn't tell you to right now, I would suggest you make a stone hatchet. So when you equip the stone hatchet, and let's put that in our quick bar here, and you go up to these branches and hit them with the axe, you're going to see you'll get 6 of these per hit. Versus when you pick them up, you only get 1. So go ahead and get yourself some more. And also, when you cut down a tree with a hatchet, you're going to get wooden branches. Oops, telling me my throat's dry, so let's drink some water here. Then if you equip your pick and hit the tree, you're going to get bark from it. And some of the trees up further north, you'll also get resin when you do that. Now, the reason I had you come this way is for this right here. Let me show you where I am on the map. I am right here in H3. And this is a little campfire with a little note here. This note is from Rasma, and Rasma is the one that Conan rescued from the cross. And she is represented throughout the game. These notes or little journals are everywhere, and this is the very first one. So again, if you're a completist, you're going to want to find all these and collect them. And you will eventually get to meet Rasma during your gameplay. Now, I'm not going to tell you how that happens. I don't want to, do any spoilers for you, but it's a fun feature of the game, and I recommend that you do it. So now it's telling us to craft a stone weapon. So let's go ahead and do that. Whoops. But to do that, whoops, I forgot. You're going to go into your knowledge first, and you've got to scroll over to warrior, and you have to highlight and click on warrior. You need to spend some of your knowledge points to learn warrior. Then I suggest you scroll down to defender and also get that. It doesn't tell you to, but I suggest you do that. Make yourself a shield. Let's go ahead and pick up some more of these. Now I'm going to have you go back this way. Now you can jump off these cliffs, but you want to hang close, and if you hit your A button, you'll actually grab on, and that will kind of break your fall, because if you fall from a high place, you will die. So you want to be careful with that. If you're not confident about doing that, then by all means, walk around the other way to get down here. So go ahead and craft a stone weapon. So now the sword is showing up in our inventory. We need to get some more stone. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, as you can see, when I'm hitting these stones, I'm actually getting iron ore from that. I've got 2 pieces. They're not very common. It's not a good way to actually get iron ore. But if we click on the information for that, you can see it gives you a description of the iron ore. And you're going to need this to make iron bars later in the game. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and craft our weapon. And then we want to craft our wooden shield. And as you can see, that takes 4 of these. The twine. So we'll go ahead and make that. And then we're going to make our shield. Now again, I want to put these in my quick bar. And now I can't do that until I take this pick out of my hand. Now I want to put it in that slot, but I can't while I'm holding this. So what I need to do is go up and remove that from my quick bar. So let's go ahead and put our sword there. Oops. And our shield over here. And then we're going to re-put our pick here. And that is our weapons. And the reason I tell you to make a shield is because it's good defense early on in the game. It's a good way to protect yourself from strikes from enemies, whether it's animal or humanoid. So next it's telling us to craft a bedroll. So let's go see what that takes. That's going to take 3 twine, 2 branch, and 6 plant fibers. We don't have enough plant fibers, so let's go ahead and pick some more of that. And I want to be able to make a couple of them. Now, as you can see, as we look around here, we can see some animals walking around up there. That is a shaleback. And shalebacks on this side of the New River, which is the southern side, are generally, not always, but generally they are docile. They're not going to bother you unless you bother them. So let's go ahead and craft a bedroll. So I want 6 of these. Now I can craft 3, it says. So I still do not have enough plant fiber here. So let's get some more. And later on in the game, you will be able to make a sickle at a higher level once you start being able to make iron, which will allow you to get a lot more plant material per hit than you can by just picking it. So let's go ahead and make 2 of these. Well, we need 5. Oh, we had plenty of those. So let's go ahead and make those. Now let's see if we can make 2. We can make 5 of them. So let's go ahead and make 2. So now we have finished that journey step, crafting a bedroll. Now it wants us to place a bedroll. So let's go ahead and place these. Now, in order to place something in the game, it must first be in your hotbar. Yeah, so let's go ahead and put them there. Then I'm going to take it out, and you can see this little green item here is showing up on the ground. Barely see it. But go ahead and hit your R1, and you can place that. And it says a spawn point is updated. What that means is every time you die, you're going to have a choice to either go to a bed or your bedroll. And right now, that's all you have is a bedroll, so that's where you're going to spawn in. Now, the reason I had you make 2 is because I want to show you something. When I place this one, the previous bedroll now disappears. Now, most people don't catch that when they're placing it, so you don't know that. So as you travel along in the game, make sure you place down a bedroll often. Especially before you're going to confront an enemy. In case you die, you want to die right close to where you are. You don't want to die all the way or be spawned all the way back here if you were way up here on the river. Yeah, so make sure you do that often. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this up for now. Now it says slay an enemy. Now the first enemy that you attempt to slay, I would suggest that you find a shaleback that is by himself, and in this case it's this one. So we're going to take out our shield and our sword, and your L2 is going to bring up your shield, and we're going to go ahead and smack this buddy. And as you can see, I have my shield up to protect myself. My L1 is going to give me my light attack. Now, if I want to lock onto him, all I have to do is press down on my right joystick. And as you can see now, the little dot is with a couple parentheses. I will face him now, no matter which way I go. And I like this in a lot of instances. Now, as you can see, I can do 1, 2, 3 hits and then hit my L2. And sometimes I will use my shield. Ooh, he's stuck on me. And he's down. Now, sometimes they have changed the combat in this game. I used to be able to do 3 light attacks and then hit my R2 and my shield would bash him. Sometimes that still works and sometimes it doesn't. You can experiment with it to see. So now we have slain our first beastie here, and it says craft some rough wraps. So what those are healing wraps. It takes 10 to make one, so we're going to go ahead and make one. And then it says heal yourself. So we're going to go ahead and use that. So we're going to hit that. And now I am wrapping my wounds. It's going to heal me, but you notice this takes a long time to do. Yeah. I don't bother with these at all. What they don't tell you, let's put away our weapons here, is that this little plant right over here is an aloe plant. It has the red blossoms on it, and you can go ahead and pick that. And I much prefer these potions over the wraps because they are quicker. They don't take any more to craft than the wraps do. They just take aloe instead of plant. So let's go ahead and go into our crafting section, and you can see that weak aloe extract is right here. I can make 10 of them. I'm going to go ahead and make all 10. And as they appear, I'm going to put them in my quick bar. And every potion made thereafter will go into my quick bar. Well, it should. It used to. I guess it's not going to now. So let me go ahead and take one of these potions. And you can see it's very quick. So if you need to heal quickly, that's the way to go, in my opinion. Now it says to harvest meat from a corpse. So we're going to go back over to our little shaleback here. And I'm going to take the axe. And I'm going to go ahead and cut him up. And I got hide and meat from this guy. So here's the hide and there's the meat. Now, the other tip I'm going to show you that I don't tell you in this game is you do not have to slay to get meat. These little grubs on the ground right here, you can eat those. So go ahead and hit your X button and use them. There's another one. So there's plenty of food source here. Now another good one is the shaleback eggs. Now as you can see, the docile shaleback is just sitting there. He doesn't care if I steal his eggs. So I'm going to go ahead into the inventory and go ahead and eat one of their eggs. And voila. Now it's telling me to refill my water skin. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, as we're going to make our way to the water, and you can always check what direction you're going in by opening up your map. So as you can see, I'm headed towards the water. So let's go ahead and do that. And we want to keep our eyes open as we go, because we can see a couple of tame shalebacks there. But if you look over here, there's a campfire. And you can see there is another exile roaming around. Do not approach them this early in the game. I highly recommend that. Unless you are an experienced survival game player and you're really, really familiar with combat and you're good at it, well then sure, have at it. But if you're a brand new player to this, don't attempt them. And there's another one right there. They will kill you. They will. So let's go down to the water. And we're going to open up our Hot Wheel, and we have our sealed water skin there. And we're going to hit our A button, and that fills our water skin. Now to fill the one in your inventory, all you need to do is highlight that and go ahead and press A as well. Am I going to do that? No, I'm not. Let's go ahead and put it in our... And as I put it in there and I just used it, it filled it for me. And then I'm just going to put it back into my inventory and it's full. There is a way to do that too. You're supposed to be able to just highlight that. And if your little icon is in the water, you can fill that. But whether it still does that or not, I don't know. Now you did see that there was a sentinel that came up. Now if we open up our map, you can see that's another icon that showed up as a point of interest. So it's the Sentinels. Well, unlock the primitive cook knowledge is our next journey step. So you want to go into your knowledge and we want to scroll over to survivalist and we want to scroll down to primitive cook. And this is the one you want to spend your knowledge point on. So go ahead and do that. So now it says to access or place a campfire. So now that you've done that knowledge, you should have a little campfire here in your crafting section. So go ahead and make one of those. I'm going to come up here and we're going to place that. So again, you need to put that into your quick bar in order to place it. So let's go ahead and place that. And then it says cook raw meat. So you should have gotten the raw meat from the shaleback. And you need wood. You need some fuel for the fireplace. So let's go ahead and open that, a campfire. Put our wood in and put in our meat. And go ahead and cook. Now you need to hit your L2 in order to start this fire and stop it. So when I hit L2, I've stopped it. If I hit it again, I'm going to start it. And if you do not have wood in here to burn, it will not cook it for you. So let's go ahead and take our meat out. And we have completed that journey step. Now it says to eat a cooked meal. So now we can go into our inventory and go ahead and eat this grilled steak. So now our journey survivor steps are complete. So if we go back into our journey steps, you can see survivor is now completed. If we scroll down, we're at the end here. And now we will see survival shelter. If you do not complete survivor, you will not see this survival shelter. And survival shelter is going to teach you how to build your first house. Yeah. And that I'm going to cover in my next guide. So stay tuned for that. So these are the tips that I have for you guys for getting started and how to do it in a good way. And save yourself a lot of trouble in a lot of ways. So if you liked, give me that big old like. And if you'd like to see more, just subscribe. And if you hit that little bell, you'll be notified when I post my next video. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. And until next time, GG out.